DCBF was created in 1977 to support and grow the network of DC nonprofits that provide free legal services to the poorest and most underserved people living in the district. With the goal of having a city where all residents have equal access to justice, no matter what their income, DCBF gives grants to nonprofit legal services organizations to help them keep their doors open and grow their services. DCBF carries out this mission with creativity and vision, expanding our programs to meet the access to justice needs of today. In addition to grants that create legal services jobs across the city, DCBF has stepped in to help provide state-of-the-art training and technical assistance to the lawyers and organizations in our legal services network. DCBF responded to the emergent crisis of law school debt that was making it hard for many to work as poverty lawyers by creating a loan repayment program. And DCBF's Young Lawyers Network is making sure that future leaders of our legal community share our strong commitment to access to justice. Short-term, DCBF is working to maintain and strengthen DC's legal services network during difficult economic times. Long-term, our goal is to have a collaborative, coherent network of legal services organizations. We aim to expand our grant programs and provide targeted technical assistance. For example, DCBF has successfully worked with several nonprofit legal services groups to help them identify and address management and structural issues, and to develop and effectively expand their own fundraising. Having more support for our grant program lets us leverage our expertise to have even greater impact on legal services groups in our city. DCBF knows the DC legal services community. Our staff and volunteers are constantly out in the community doing site visits, watching lawyers in court, and seeing what works and what doesn't. DCBF has a strong understanding of where the gaps and needs are. Our good relationships with other funders in our area allow us all to invest in programs that are strong and to steer clear of problems. DCBF sees the big picture. We have a commitment to funding groups that work on tough, unpopular, and hard-to-fund issues. And we back up our grants with training, technical assistance, and support for poverty lawyers. DCBF listens, and we take action on what we learn to help our grantee organizations succeed. With the privilege of funding only in DC, we focus on the legal needs of people in our own community. And DC is small enough that we can easily meet with, visit, and learn from the talented people working in poverty law here. Listening sessions is one approach we use to shape new grant programs, expand, and develop grant-making priorities for hard economic times. DCBF encourages meaningful collaborations between legal services providers in DC and among legal services providers and other nonprofits through our grant-making. And we model collaboration by reaching out to stakeholders in our own work. We bring organizations to the table, helping to ensure that limited resources are used both effectively and efficiently. DCBF measures impact in 3 ways. First, we look at the numbers. How many organizations or projects have we funded? How many people in DC were helped as a result? How many poverty lawyers received loans that enabled them to stay in their jobs? Second, we look at the outcome of our investments. Are more clients getting legal help? Are barriers to justice being identified because of these projects? And are these barriers being addressed? Are the nonprofits we fund getting stronger, or are they struggling? Third, we look at increased recognition of the importance of the issues we are working on. The more we hear others carry our own message about the need for a strong, well-funded, citywide network of legal services, the more we know that we're doing our job. People think there is a right to a free lawyer for important civil cases. But contrary to popular belief in the U.S., the right to a free lawyer exists only in criminal cases. People have no idea that you can have your home taken away, your kids taken away. You can be the victim of domestic violence with no attorney to protect you. That's where DCBF's grantees come in. People also often think that there can't be much of a need in D.C. for legal services nonprofits because there's already so many lawyers here. There are a lot of lawyers, but only a tiny fraction are doing work to help low-income people in D.C. In fact, 90% of people facing eviction walk into court with no one defending their rights. D.C. Bar Foundation's Access to Justice Grants program, loan repayment program, and training program have helped change the face of legal services in D.C. The LRAP, DCBF's low-cost loan program that helps poverty lawyers repay their law school loans, has been a huge accomplishment. Lawyers are graduating with enormous educational debt. That makes it hard to survive in D.C. on a public interest salary. On average, public interest lawyers would be spending almost 20% of their pre-tax salary on repaying school loans. Before LRAP, poverty lawyers were holding down second jobs at night or on weekends, and many were leaving public interest law after just a few years. LRAP has changed that. Law firms and lawyers tend to give to the nonprofit legal services groups that they know or work with. Our challenge is to also support and fund providers that are not easily noticed or that are not popular. Legal nonprofits that tend to get left out when it comes to funding include those that serve clients who need bilingual lawyers, those that work with less popular clients, clients with more challenging backgrounds or who may have criminal records, and those that handle cases that might be at odds with law firms and lawyers' day jobs, for example, cases against banks or credit card companies. Nonprofits doing this kind of work in D.C. face a much harder time raising money. DCBF helps fill these gaps with grants to make sure that access to justice isn't linked to popularity, but to need. With more resources, we could expand our grant programs to get more lawyers on the ground. More lawyers means that more people in our community could get the help they need to access justice. And we could fully fund the growing need for LRAP loans. That would mean that more committed, talented people would be able to join our community to work for access to justice. In short, more resources would help us create jobs that help DC's poor and make sure that the people who take those jobs can afford to stay in them. DCBF could invest in innovative projects that help close service gaps that have been identified. We could support legal services providers in their efforts to evaluate the impact of their services, to determine what works and what could work better. We could expand the training opportunities for DC's poverty lawyers to ensure the community has strong case handlers, supervisors, and future leaders. These will all bring us closer to our shared vision of truly equal access to justice in our city.